brief thing, and then you guys can. Okay. I've been just referencing it, and then my 4-year-old, who obviously has never seen it, and he won't see it until he's older a little bit. But we jokingly, like, I'll call him, you're my wingman, blah, stuff like that. So he gets some of the references just with the names, all right? The other day, he was going with me to work because I had to go into work on a Saturday for like an hour to set up for Grand Valley's move-in. He is sitting on the counter when I come out of the bathroom after getting dressed. He's wearing his little aviator sunglasses, eating some breakfast. He's eating a piece of pizza for breakfast. He's sitting, and I'm like, oh, I just jokingly tell him, because he's wearing the aviators, I'm like, hey, good morning, Rooster. You ready to go? And he's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So like 5 or 10 minutes pass. We're actually about to walk out the door. And I get to the door. I say, all right, you ready to go? And he says to me, very serious and very confidently, yeah, let's go, Maverick. My 4-year-old son referred to me as Maverick, and he was dead serious. Honestly, I almost cried right there on the steps. I looked to my wife. I didn't know what to say. I was just like, that was a defining moment of fatherhood right there when he said, yup, let's go, Maverick. This kid, I tell you what. And that's what this movie has done. Joel, what'd you think of it? I cannot hear you.
Joel,
that's because I muted my mic. Anyway, I said,
so what'd you think of it?
This, I thought it was amazing.
7:15. 7:15, Christian. I'm time coding it. 7:15. Okay.
I was just in the process of doing that.
Okay,
can
take
you
it from the
guys
top.
Hear me?
We can hear
now.
you. So, yeah, I thought it was amazing. Obviously, Christian and I went, I don't know, last Tuesday. It's like his third time seeing it. I don't know. My first time, though. And yeah, wow. This definitely, obviously, one of the best sequels. But, yeah, it made me reconsider my whole
existence.
Hierarchy of films in my head and that I have ever watched and ever loved. So I had a very strong emotional response to certain moments in this film, stronger than some other beloved franchises. We'll get into that more, I'm sure. But yeah, very strong emotional response, epic third act, like just perfect.
It is, dude. Like, I'm sitting there, and Christian, you're going to go next, but that entire third act, even the second time watching it, I'm knowing what's coming. It almost got me more. I'm sitting there, third act, the entire time, welling up in my eyes the entire time. Christian, I think you're still here.
Yes. Hey, I'm not interrupting for once.
Oh, well, it took bad audio to do it for you. Nah, we're just kidding.
I'm having some internet issues over here. I'm going to try and fix it, and we'll get together again. But I thought I went and saw this when I was in California, when I went to Star Wars Celebration. Me and Michael Albachton and our friend Jeremiah, we all went and saw it at the local IMAX. We took an Uber, rode in a Tesla, went and saw it at the theater. I actually have some pictures from outside of the theater. They had these massive Top Gun promo marquee stuff on the outside. Very cool. Went in. We were a little late to the movie. We missed the previews.
You don't need them.
But we got to see the whole movie from the beginning to end. It was great.
Okay.
It was so cool. seeing. I mean, I haven't seen. I've never. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm not speechless by any means. It's a great, great movie, stellar movie, fantastic sequel. I think it does better. It's on par, or even maybe a little better than Empire Strikes Back. It gives Empire Strikes Back a run for its money. Gives The Last Jedi a run for its money.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're gonna get punched by Joel through the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
And then
I had
my
the
video
risk
will
of
go
that.
out, and then
But
we're done.
And then I'll just do it by myself.
but I thought the second time I watched it, and that wasn't a Han Solo reference.
What was the second
I had
time?
more of an emotional
You
reaction.
can't even make it through 5 minutes.
Yeah, I had a more emotional reaction the second time.
Well, Spencer,
because at the end, just with the song and hey,
What?
with the song with the Lady Gaga song, it hit me a certain way.
yeah,
And
She has the voice of an angel.
with just some of the stuff that's been going on in my life,
mm-hmm.
and just the whole thinking about the relationship between Maverick and Goose and his son, and the dynamic of that, and how it turned out in the end with them reconciling and all that. Just it was just fantastic. It hit me in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I saw it, though, it's great. It was cool seeing it in California in IMAX. It's a memorable moment from that trip, other than all the Star Wars Celebration stuff. I'm happy I got to go see it.
Why don't you guys ever come with me to Celebration?
That's Christian, by the way.
Live stream it. Facebook Live us.
Yeah, it is me, because you have no excuses.
FaceTime.
Joel, my wiener won't fit on the plane.
Won't fit in my
Christian.
carry-on.
We're done with those jokes.
I did it again.
Christian, we're grounding you.
I'm the one who said not to do that.
Yeah. Well, your video's kind of back, but here's the deal. I think with Riverside, I think it still records a video, and
We'll
it's
allow
fine.
it.
For
having
tonight's
some
episode,
growing
we're gonna
pains
just
right
kind of
here.
struggle through it. So
I'm
we'll
not
see how
struggling.
this ends up looking in the final video edit here. But oh well, we can hear you. You're here. It's fine. But I was saying, Spencer,
You
you
hear
were
me just fine.
yes, audio is fine. But I wanted to go back because Spencer was scoffing at the
Sounds a
Star
little
Wars
delayed.
reference, and I'm saying there's plenty more of that in store for tonight's episode. There's
I know, because this
clear
movie,
parallels. So
honestly, what I think that was super intentional. And
mhm.
in my opinion, now don't shoot me, but
Yeah,
I
try not
think
to.
they were doing that, and they were like, let's do that better.
Mhm.
And I think they did.
Right.
I think this movie, like I said, this is not joking, this is now my favorite movie of all time. To me,
Mhm.
this is as close to a perfect film as I think I've ever seen.
Right.
Like I have no negative thing to say about it. Even some of the cheesy stuff, I think it fits, because that's kind of what Top Gun is. But there's nothing that I saw took me out of it ever, even a little bit. And these people, I think what really helps is the effects, because there really aren't, like, these actors are flying in jets. They're actually in these jets. Maybe not these, but they're in a jet. They're flying.
They're not actually flying.
They're in the
they're
Rio
in it.
spot, really.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are in a jet in the air,
Yes.
flying. They're doing their own hair and makeup. This is a bit of trivia. They're setting their own, like, setting up their own camera shot. They're doing that.
I'm sorry, but that bleeds perfectly into one of my behind the scenes clips. Talking
You
about
can play it right now.
flying and flight cameras and stuff. Let me at least play the camera clip. Let's see.
Okay.
This was taking it to a whole new level in terms of speed and complexity in terms of these machines. Working with the Navy, 15 months to figure out how to get the cameras in these things. We had air-to-air, we had cameras mounted on the outside of the jets. So yeah, then the naval aviators, we had to talk to them about movie making, light, altitude, speed, angles that we wanted to get. So yeah, they were serving as cameramen and women on this film as well.
Yeah, that's the lengths they
incredible.
went to. You saw that a Cinejet,
Yeah,
flying
saw that.
right next to them there, and yeah, so yeah, you're not kidding. The
So
lengths
like,
they had to
that's
go
what
to.
adds to it, because we're so used to even the best Marvel movies. Like, don't get me wrong, I love those. Those are my jam. But we're so CGI this and CGI, and they do it well. But seeing a movie that doesn't have that, it was almost, I think that added, like, I didn't realize that I was so used to all that. So when I saw something real, subconsciously, I'm like, this is perfect. They're doing this stuff. Like, you can't
Right.
go to space for real in a Marvel movie. You just can't. It's cool. They can make it look real, but this, they're flying. They're fucking flying
Right.
in the air.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think we should just get into it if you guys
Yeah.
don't have any more stuff, because this
For sure.
movie, it deserves all of our time.
Yeah, I'm surprised I played behind the scenes before you even said Act 1. Whoops, that's okay.
That's fine. It played
It
in.
works perfectly. So
So
plenty more
Christian,
where that came from.
If you'll allow me, I'm going to get into it. Are you ready? I'm going to take that as a yes.
Get
Okay.
into it, yeah.
Welcome to the Danger Zone again. We're back and better than ever with the same opening montage from the first, but a modern version of jets taking off and landing on an aircraft carrier at sea. Maverick is living a quiet life as a test pilot, working on his sick-ass P-51 Mustang that actually is owned by Tom Cruise. But it's time to fly. It's Mach 9 day for the Dark Star, but Hammer wants to shut it down in favor of unmanned crafts. Maverick takes flight anyway to prove the program worthy. Talk to me, Goose. He needs Mach 10, but instead, he goes Mach 10.2 and burns the engine up. He burns it up. He lands somewhere on Earth. He gets sent to Top Gun again to teach for mission to, okay, he's teaching young pilots maneuvers because there's a mission. They need to blow up a uranium base that's unauthorized in an unnamed country, which I like, and not quite fully operational. You know what? It's the exact plot of A New Hope. There, save some explanation. Cyclone is the air boss, and he doesn't like Mav, but he's going with him because Iceman made the call to bring him, and he's the admiral. He's in charge. He has to put a team of young pilots together, but first, he needs a drink from the bar where he meets his old flame, Penny. We heard her in a throwaway line in the first one. He has to buy the bar around, and we meet the young guns: Coyote, Phoenix, Fanboy, Payback, Omaha, Yale, Harvard, Hangman, and, Bob. They have some sassy back and forth before Rooster, Goose's son, comes in to play piano, and it's Great Balls of Fire. Maverick gets tossed out because he can't pay and has flashbacks of Goose. Guys, what an Act 1.
Yes.
Just beautiful. That
I just took a
whole
fresh dump.
nice. That whole bit.
I'm kidding.
That whole bit, the cinematography, the visuals of him flying in that Dark Star, like the wide shots
man.
of the jet stream, and he's just it's almost
what?
like he's in space.
When I
Right.
watch that sequence, I just think about the kind of spiritual nature of it too for him,
Mhm.
like being in the air and being that
Yeah.
high up and going that fast. and then seeing the sunrise or the sunset or whatever that was, and he says, "Talk to me, Goose." It's like, well, he's like almost communion with Goose in a way.
Right. Yeah.
Being up in the air like that and doing what he's doing. It's very cool. It is kind of a very spiritual experience.
I'm waiting for the. Now, Joel, heaven is. It didn't come. So.
No, but you did.
Damn it!
I'm waiting for my moments. I'm being selective with this one. I don't want to waste words and tangents on this film, man.
Yeah.
I tell you
know.
what.
Yeah,
I mean, I
you know
will, but
with the whole intro ring theory, you're going to hear this a lot in the episode. You notice at the beginning of the movie, I'm not going to say cookie cutter, but an obvious homage to the first movie with the whole danger zone sequence.
Oh, absolutely.
And when at the end of Dark Star, when he goes and gets called into Ed Harris's office and gets his ass chewed out and everything, just like in the first movie, when he and Goose get called in there, it's like, I can't believe I got to send you to Top Gun. All that.
Right.
I actually kind of like that.
And you know the thing about it.
Years. It's earned the callbacks. It's been such a long time. And in this movie, they don't just do fan service, I don't think. They implement it in a way that's satisfactory. And it fits my sensibilities better than how they did it in, say, like the new Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And the thing about it, there was like several moments where I'm watching going, oh, okay, this is what the plot's going to be. Yep, we've seen this. Let's see if they can do it. Oh, nope. This is, okay, yep, here's the cliche. I was just waiting for something that I could be like, gotcha. I got you, fuckers. This movie is just a cookie cutter. And then it was like, oh, but actually it's not. It's not that. Like at first I was like, okay, it's going to be, because I didn't watch any trailers because I didn't care. So that's also another reason maybe why it hit so hard. I didn't know what the movie was about. I thought I did several times. So I thought it was going to be man versus machine, but they nixed that right away. They're like, okay, you fixed that.
It's just
you proved
an aspect of the movie.
right. And then that was it. And then I was like, okay, it's going to be him going back and forth with Rooster. Rooster blames him for his dad's death. Nope. He just pulled his papers, causing halting his career.
Exactly.
Oh, it's going to be another. He has to teach the Top Gun recruits. Here it is. Here's the real one. It's going to be another competition. Nope. There's an actual mission. There's not a competition anymore.
Well, here's the interesting. It's so cool that what they did with this movie, because the first one, you're actually in the Top Gun class, the Top Gun competition in the first film. In this film, as a sequel, it actually kind of goes on to the sequel in their reality, where it's 30 years later. We're not. I thought it might. Conventionally, you might think would be, oh, Mavericks just got called in to teach Top Gun again,
Right?
and we're back in Top Gun. But no, we're actually not in Top Gun. We're after. These are the guys who graduated Top Gun, top of their classes, and now we're teaching them how to survive the mission that they've been ordered to do.
To your point about, oh,
I actually really like that.
they could have done he's here to teach Top Gun. He even says like, yeah, I did that. I taught at Top Gun. I lasted 3 months.
Right.
Then they got rid of me. It wasn't for me.
Actually, it was 2 months.
2 months. But they even took that and they're like, oh, you think, no, he tried that. It didn't work. Everything you thought his story was going to be, turns out not. But it is this. And there's a real mission. And I think that's why it works so well, too.
Yeah, it makes you wonder with the whole he got kicked out after 2 months. That kind of, it's like, well, what the hell happened? You know, that's as far as Maverick goes. And
actually kind of like that. It's
they kind of keep it mysterious and make you wonder about who'd he punch or whatever. But also about Maverick is there's this thing about him still being a captain and like kind of stuck where he is. And that's the only, I think that's one of my few nitpicks, I guess, if I can even, if there are any with this movie. And because I kind of read up on it, I was like, does that actually happen? You know, and the Navy has the whole, like, it's either up or out type of promotion structure. So that's one nitpick, I guess. And then I guess the other only real nitpick from Act 1 would be like the convenience of his instructor assignment basically saving his ass after he destroyed Dark Star, or, you know, he got cocky with that and made a classic Maverick, you know, mistake with that. But other than that, it was, don't really have any complaints. I got some notes, like Mach 10 obviously is insanity. Like that, the closest we've got, that's another nerdy thing I looked up. The closest we got was with NASA's unmanned X-43 craft, and I think it was like Mach 9.4 or something like that. And that was that was a robot. There wasn't any, but there was unmanned. So they definitely pushed the fantasy on the whole Mach 10 thing. But hey,
so we've never hit Mach 10 ever.
I don't think we've hit Mach 10. Gotten damn close, but again, you know, here's Maverick in an aircraft, and he's hitting Mach 10. So like that, I can see how some service member, people who are in the Navy or pilots themselves, probably saw that scene as like, well, there's no way in hell, like NASA didn't even hit Mach 10 yet, you know. But you know, small little things, like if you're looking for them, sure, you can find them. But other than that, I think it was a strong first act to me, because like that opening, the carrier scene, almost shot for shot
you right
copy
into it.
of the first movie almost. But yeah, hooked me right in.
And Joel, to your point about people, you could look at it and be like, oh, that's unrealistic. I think if it was too realistic, then it's not fun. It's not a movie. They have to do something that isn't possible, or else what's the point of making a movie? Unless it's, well, even like movies based on real events, they fabricate some of the stuff to make it movie worthy. Otherwise, you're just watching everyday life. Yep, this is what the military does. If you want that, watch a documentary. Like, I want a cinematic experience and something fun. So they had to push the limits, and they started right off with it. And I was in it I was like, you know, you go in thinking there's no way this is going to meet expectations. Everybody's saying it is. I'm going to be the one that's like, hot. Nope, that didn't happen. Even from the beginning, when it, you know, slower started showing him he's fixing his plane. I'm like, all right, I'm in, even watching him fix this plane, because that plane, the Mustang, like at that air show I was telling you about, I saw that plane fly, and the sound that it makes is just beautiful. It's this beautiful machine.
Yeah.
And so like I was connected to kind of, because it's one of the few films where I'm like, I saw that thing in person fly. So when I saw him working on it, I'm like, I know that plane. And that enhanced it too.
Right. Yeah. And I too can distinctly remember the sound of a P-51 Mustang too, because I've seen it. I've heard it.
Like it whistles almost.
Yeah, it's got like but it's those old warplanes. It's like a flying hot rod, you know, and it's
hence Mustang.
It's something to behold. Yes.
But it was just insane, and I knew it was gonna like come back. I didn't know that's actually Tom Cruise's like that's like I would look, if I owned one of those, I'm not driving a car to work. I'll pay the thousands of dollars in gas that it takes. I'm flying to work. Okay, because if I can afford that, I'm pretty sure I can afford the gas in it.
Flying
I'm
my
flying that to work.
P-51. Let me just
Like I'm not
land
even
my
gonna. Like yeah,
P-51 at Grand Valley. Yeah.
I drove the Stang to work today. Oh,
Yeah.
you got a Mustang? Is that a Ford? Nah, dude, P-51, bro. Like I'm flying my Mustang in to work. Christian keeps leaving us. Hopefully he'll be able to join us with his internet.
Mhm.
But until then, you know what? We'll keep talking. That's what he would want.
You're good at talking. You never shut the fuck up, so it's
That's
okay.
true. That's true. Hey, the show must
Even
go
Chance
on.
Chance is being rather needed tonight.
Look at
so.
him. Hey, Chance. Chance, fetch. Chance, sick him. Sick him. Bite his balls. Bite his balls.
No, he's just gonna lay there and pout.
He has no idea. Well, he probably can't hear me because I'm through the headphones.
No, yeah.
You know what else this movie does that I was not expecting, and that's probably why it got me so much, is this movie was like funny. Like there was humor and it never felt out of place. Like there was a moment toward the end I'll talk about when we get there, but I like laughed. Even the second time I laughed harder. But one of the funniest things, and just to show the magnitude of this, how far he traveled in this dark star, he doesn't know where he lands. And it's just this little podunk town. He walks in, there's no music or audio. Everybody's looking at him like he's a guy from space. And he does the,
that's right.
Where am I? And the little kid's like, Earth. Like, bro, you're in Earth. You're from space right now.
Yeah.
To us, you are from
You're
space.
on Earth, mister. Welcome to Earth, mister. Like
my God.
Basically what he was saying. Yeah.
Like, where am I? Earth. You can do whatever you want in this town. You can have this water. You can steal our women. You can steal our men. You can steal our children. You are from space right now. And here, have some water. Have some water. Fix your internet. Maybe I bet he could have fixed Christian's internet.
Yeah. Maybe the Dark Star knocked out his internet. I don't know.
So just a side disclaimer: Christians have an internet problem. So if you're not hearing him, it's because he's fixing that. He's not with us right now, but he's going to work his way back. I think he told us to keep going, so that's why we're keeping going. You know the other cool thing about this, and obviously it was so it could be marketed in other countries, but I also like that it wasn't. It worked for me because it wasn't so. It didn't seem propaganda-y. It's an unnamed enemy country. They were just like, we're not doing politics. Use your imagination. It's whatever country you don't like. It's an enemy country. That's what it is. Okay? Done. It's the enemy, and that's it. And I appreciate that. Much like, the first one, they didn't outright say the Russians.
Yeah.
It was implied, but
I think that's where everybody's mind goes, realistically. A lot of people, but
not mine.
That's where mine went.
Mine went to Florida. I'm like, this country is Florida. This is
some red state. I don't know. Just pick a red state. Any red state. Yeah.
Mine went to Florida. I'm like, oh shit, Florida with their uranium. Come on, guys, you're America's basement already. You're gonna do this? All right, here we go. Let's blow them up. I guess we can vacation elsewhere. I'll go to Hawaii. I don't give a fuck.
Right. Yeah.
That's just my thoughts on Florida. Beautiful, beautiful state. Terrible governor. Okay, what? Not political.
Disney's cool. Anyway.
Yeah, man. I really want him to come back. I really
we
want
can
him
dive
to come
into
back.
like Act 2.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. But do you think that's cool? Like, he hasn't talked about Act 1. I don't. Like, you good, fam? I'm gonna ask him if he's good. I'm gonna say, "Are you good, fam?" I'm gonna say, "You good?" This is good video right here. Because they're seeing the behind the screens.
Behind the screens.
We can go to Act 2. We'll get some more thought, like at the end when we kind of just do a full recap.
We'll make it up.
So
we'll make it up.
Here, hold on, Christian, are you ready to go to Act 2? Yeah. We can go to Act
2. Yeah.
All right, poor guy. Act 2. Maverick is introduced to the team, and he explains that the enemy knows everything they do about their jets. And the enemy, they have 5th generation fighters more advanced than them, but they can get ahead with proper dogfighting training. He takes them all on one. Okay. He goes head to head with the team, like one team at a time, and he makes easy work of them. He's far superior as a pilot. He does stuff they didn't even know about. We also learned that he and Rooster have a history, obviously because he's Goose's son, but there's more to it. There's some tension. We think it relates to the death of his dad, but it's really due to the fact that Maverick held him back from joining the Navy way back when. And we learn about that more. During the next training, he and Rooster go at it. They break the hard deck rule, causing Maverick to get chewed out and then requesting a lower hard deck. The next lesson is more intense, with a time limit and a stricter parameters that reflect the actual mission. Iceman texts Maverick to meet, and we get an emotional cameo from Val Kilmer as Iceman. And they talk about letting go of the past. We find out, has some form of throat cancer, so he can only talk by typing and then just very little dialogue. Next, we get some of that good old-fashioned team-building dogfight football on the beach, baby. Maverick then takes Penny home, and we get a much more modest and a quicker, more tasteful love scene. But he gets caught by her daughter as he tries to escape. The mission has been moved up a week, so it's crunch time. The next phase of training involves extreme physical challenges, and Coyote goes into G-lock and passes out. Maverick locks on him, and his lock tone wakes him up and saves him. But then some birds hit the jets, causing malfunctions to Bob and Phoenix, and they have to eject, and they live. Minor injuries. Mav and Rooster have a confrontation about why Mav pulled his papers, and then it's because he was trying to protect him. He didn't think he was ready. And then we get the sad news that Iceman has passed away from his illness. There's a funeral, and it's sad, and it's beautifully done. It's tastefully done. Cyclone then grounds Maverick because he knows how he deals with emotional stuff like this. But then he takes over the training. But Penny talks some sense into Maverick and tells him to prove himself. Maverick does an unscheduled, probably illegal test run, stealing a jet, and he succeeds, proving the mission can be done. Cyclone is in a pickle and can either risk his career or court-martial Mav and have him dishonorably discharged. He chooses the latter, and Mav is the team leader, setting up the final mission. Still not back, huh?
All right.
Now, this is when the movie takes off right from the beginning, but
it takes off.
This is when we learn. Well, this is when we get all the fun actions, the training stuff. This, I'll tell you, that first initial training, 5-minute little training montage. This is what they played for us, right before Multiverse of Madness. And I'll be honest, I'm sitting there super annoyed, and I'm making fun. I'm like, Christian,
you were
all right,
so not impressed.
Let's move on. Because I just had it in my mind that, this is just going to be a terrible sequel. I didn't give it a chance. So I'm sitting there in the theater going, like, let's watch John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. That's what I'm here to see. Turns out, after watching the movie, obviously a maturity moment for me, 180. And I'm watching this scene now with like a different perspective going, this scene slaps. I was annoyed for being annoyed's sake and for trying to be edgy. I was like a middle schooler that listens to Panic at the Disco. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be edgy.
Or Green
Day.
Day.
This training scene, and he just owns them all. And he's like cocky about it. And he's, well, you're dead. That's a kill. And they're doing push-ups. And he's like, I'm better. Like, I'm better at this.
I'm better. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I tried to take notes on or put together. See, I didn't watch it a second time. I tried to do a half recollection of the time I watched it in theater and then just, internet looking up stuff. But yeah, that bar scene is in, that was in the first act. What am I saying?
Yeah, but if you can talk about it.
Oh, no, that's okay. We covered it enough. I guess I'll talk about the football scene in its place.
Oh, I guess we'll just go
we'll just
straight to that, huh?
Well, no, I'm just trying to think of stuff I didn't like, because that'll be hard. That's more of a task for me than because I love this movie so much. But I did not really like the football, the beach football thing. Like it's like that's one where they could have maybe skipped, because I get the whole team building aspect of it, but you're never going to live up to playing with the boys,
Nah, but it's a modern version of it. It's a different take. They have to have it.
I know.
It's probably in some contract. You gotta have a sweaty.
You gotta have a sweaty recreational scene that builds friendship and team building and all that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
I really thought that. Yeah.
I was confused because, being a sports guy, Joel, when I saw that there was 2 footballs going at the same time, I was like, okay, this is the big flaw of the movie. These people have no idea how sports work. This is absolutely, but then he explains this is dogfight football. It's offense, defense at the same time. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad they had a plan. And then it was totally cool, because then I got it. But at first I'm like, what are they doing to football? But now I get it, and it's cool. I might try it someday. Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. But you need it. Like, you definitely need that. You know what I mean?
Need it. Yeah. Yeah, and just I wasn't jiving with like Rooster's treatment of Maverick. Like, it was not making any sense. He's just being brutal, bitter and brutal. Like, the fact that he's placing this blame with Maverick, and then come to find out, like, it made more sense, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that was a dick move to pull his papers and basically hinder his career for what, 4 years. Was that kind of putting a 4-year buffer in there? So, but it's still, like, until that got resolved, it was kind of, it did what it was supposed to, because it made me feel uncomfortable. But I was just like, that's rough. The fact that you have Rooster here, and I guess it's because I went into the movie thinking that, like, Rooster would instantaneously hold Mav up to, like, role model standard.
Right.
Like, it would be like, oh, they're buddy, or like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you so long. I remember with both, you'd be like happy. But in matter of fact, it's
not the case.
That's not what it is. Yeah.
So that's another moment where you're like, here it is. Here's their cliche. And then it's not. And again, you're thinking, because we think it naturally, but then Hangman, we haven't even talked about the other characters. We'll talk about them next. Mm-hmm. But Hangman, who is essentially the Iceman character in here, and they both have man. I thought that was cool. But Hangman, he doesn't realize that, like, he didn't know ahead of time that Goose, well, he didn't know who that was, but then he saw a picture, which, by the way, seeing Miles Teller in that Hawaiian shirt and the sunglasses with that's perfect casting. He looks he looks like he's his son. But when Hangman sees the old picture of him, and then he starts to kind of make an assumption. He puts the pieces together, and then, brings it up in one of their meetings where he's like, yeah, what happened to your dad? Oh, and you blame it on him. And he's saying what we're all thinking is why Rooster's upset. And then there's that fight, and you're thinking, yeah, he's saying what we just thought. But
Right.
which obviously that still would, even if that's not why he's mad at Maverick, that would trigger something. You're talking about his dad who died. Like, that's a dick move.
Mhm.
Like, don't do that. And I think they played that really well, because that's like, quote unquote, the worst thing that Hangman does. So he's redeemable this entire time, much like Iceman was. They're, I guess, the quote unquote antagonistic characters, but they both, like, they get it. They're not gonna, in training, yeah, they screw over their teammates a couple because they're trying to be the best, but in the end they're all on the same team, and I appreciate that, much like the first one. But him as a character, like, every character has a moment, and everything, there he is. Hey buddy.
Hey, got back.
Okay.
You're a fuck for doing that. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
So,
I'm not
Christian, let
pulling
me
a
fill you
Maverick.
in.
I was having a disastrous.
So hopefully it was all right. We went on to Act 2,
Oh,
but
can I just say a couple?
yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You have the floor for Act 1.
You were like a kid whose balloon got popped, or
You can have
ice
the
cream
floor.
got knocked out of his
Actually,
hands, or something.
I just have a couple things,
Yeah.
and then the rest of it was in Act 2.
Mhm.
Nice little thing here. Did you notice when he goes to the jukebox in the bar, he pressed 86?
Oh, I didn't.
For when the
Jeez,
movie
no, I
came
didn't.
out. Yeah, I noticed that. There's a David Bowie song. I think I turned to you, Joel, in the theater and said that when
Mhm.
Jennifer Connelly shows up, and there's David
Oh,
Bowie
yeah.
in the background.
And that's a nod to Labyrinth. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Very much Easter egg type things going on in that bar
yeah,
scene.
and
Now that we circled back to the bar scene, sorry,
That is
go
kind
ahead.
of a
I
big
screwed up and
scene.
kind of
that's
missed
kind of
out
all
on
I
Act
had.
1.
That's kind of all I had.
I just
That
want to
is a big
say,
scene.
yeah. First of all, I guess the weak points for me in the movie were when they were trying to replicate certain things, the football and the bar scene, kind of how that was supposed to echo the bar scene or club, whatever. You lost love and feeling scene in the first movie, and it seemed a little like they were trying to take on the role of cocky pilots, like a little too hard on that scene. But also, I did appreciate this ring theory.
Hey.
That sorry for not playing it earlier. I didn't have it queued up. Of
Charles Nelson.
I did
Riley?
appreciate the whole thing of, they throw Maverick out completely oblivious to, like, what, the next day. Oh, surprise. It's Maverick. He's your instructor. He's a legend,
And that is
They're
Act
sitting
2
there,
stuff.
shit.
Funny.
We threw him
funny.
out.
Are you
Yeah,
going to say what I think you're going to say, Joel?
Well, I'm just saying how that kind of the ring theory of echoes the whole the Charlie that's her name, right? Yeah, walking in like, oh crap, she's that's the same thing that's happening there. So
yep, for sure. Did we meet Warlock in the original movie?
No.
Because he knows him, and I was like, is that a guy from the original movie?
But I want to speak to that. He's not, and neither is Hondo. But what this movie does so well is we believe they've known each other. It's not like, oh, here's a new character, and they throw in lines, hey, like, remember that time you and I first met, and then we did all these missions together? They're just like, okay, just accept that these people.
Was almost
there's 36 years
as
has
when
passed.
We fell into that nest of Gundarks.
Right. Like 36 years have passed. You have to just believe that he's made these relationships, and they make them all work. They do every relationship in this, in my opinion, justice. Even characters you don't see a lot.
Now that you say that, I
works.
actually appreciate that they don't do that kind of thing where they go, oh, remember when we went to so and so and did so and such?
Well, because in that way, it doesn't
mean anything.
It doesn't spoon feed the audience. It's allowing the audience just to be like, hey, we understand that you're intelligent. We're not going to insult your intelligence by giving you a line that's not going to come back to explain
Right.
this relationship. Just
And
look,
honestly,
they have one. They've worked together,
I
okay?
didn't get anything out of this movie like I complained about the first one with the whole look. I know you didn't get into the academy because you're old man. I know, blah blah blah. Well, he knows, but we don't know, so therefore that's why he's saying it. In this movie, I didn't get any of that. I didn't get anything. I didn't get the sense that anything was being like expository, or we need to have this line in here because the audience needs to know what's going on. It's dealt with very naturally, I think. Like what's your history? Like, what's the problem? Oh, he pulled my papers, set me back 4 years. Oh, like, and that is a ring theory. Ding, ding, in and of itself, because that goes back to when he's talking to, when he didn't, okay, Maverick didn't get to go to academy because of his dad, and now Maverick trying to be Rooster's dad, surrogate father, he doesn't let him in the academy either. So it's kind of inverted. He was inverted.
Whoa.
Oh.
Bullshit. No.
But like, can we talk about the characters a little bit? Because there's obviously a bunch of new young pilots, and like I said, even the ones we don't get a lot of time with.
So how far did you get? Okay,
everything
what
they
were you
do
guys
is
talking
earned.
about in Act 2? I'm sorry to interrupt. How far did you
We
guys?
We were just about to circle back to the characters. We were talking about Hangman and how
Gotcha.
he's the quote unquote antagonist, but like it's kind of the same idea as
But
Iceman.
really,
he's cocky.
Spencer, you said like the really only thing that, like you said, was the only thing that really happened with him was him making the dick comments about Goose.
Yeah. But he
Bringing
doesn't do anything where there's never a point. There from the beginning, there was never a point, even though the entire time it's this face right here.
Oh,
I swear I went to high school with somebody exactly like that, but we won't.
Oh, I'm a reserve. That sucks.
Yeah.
I got you. No, but there was never a moment, and much like the first one with Iceman, there was never a moment where I'm like, you know what? I hope this guy gets put in this Iceman. Or this Hangman. I don't like him. He was likable. Like, you get it. There's always that guy. And he's not being too much of, I mean, he's being a dick, but he's not, like, unlikable.
I don't mean to interject. Well, I do mean to interject.
Please interject. Interject your words into me.
So this is kind of funny. My Uncle Scott, he's the part of the Air Force, and his favorite movies talk about. He sent me a picture, and it was Iceman, like Tom Kazansky, when the douchebag pilot becomes admiral or whatever. And I said, I guess this guy's next in line. And I posted that picture of Hangman with that stupid grin face. And
wow.
Now that when I think back on the movie, after seeing it 3 times, he's more, I actually watched it last night, so make it 4. He's more of a Maverick, in my opinion. He's not, I don't really, because Maverick's the one who, he was the one taking the risks. He was the one who came into the place thinking he was Mr. Big Shot. Who's the best pilot? That's who Hangman is in this instance. And he's the one doing, like, pulling all these stunts, like leaving his wingman like Maverick did. Well, that's not a strategy I've seen in a long time, because I did it.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
And where am I? Where are you, Phoenix? Where is he? Where's he? I'm dead, Dick, or whatever she said.
Yeah, I'm dead. Yeah. Like, just every character's interaction with each other.
Looks like we got a stealth pilot here. No, actually, I'm an engineer who can't take a joke.
What do they call you? Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, no, he means your call sign. Bob.
What's your line of work, Bob?
Oh, Bob. Bob
what
Vance,
line of work
Vance
are you
Refrigeration. In, Bob Vance, Jet Refrigeration. But Bob, even
he's one of my
that's
favorites.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Here, real quick, we got to do it. Favorite call sign from this movie.
Oh fuck.
So who is there? There's Omaha, Yale, Harvard, Coyote,
Halo.
Halo, Hangman, Rooster, Bob, Phoenix. I think I already said. Payback, Fanboy.
Bob, I got it. Baby on board.
Right, like that's a fun joke.
I know.
Warlock.
That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, Warlock too, and
Warlock,
Cyclone,
That's mine.
and
Which,
Hondo.
now that we're on the subject of Cyclone, or
Oh, you're not
now
going to
that we're
pick a
on the
favorite
subject-
call
What a
sign?
bitch. No.
What's my favorite call sign? I'll get to that. Hold on. You're right. Let's get back on.
Actually, you know what?
I
John
like
Hamm is
Bob.
more of an antagonist
I like Bob.
He
than
really is.
Hangman
I like
Yeah.
Bob as a name, as a call
because
sign.
it's just funny. I don't know, man.
It's
Payback
simple,
is sick.
yet effective.
Payback is
Fanboy
pretty sick.
cool too.
Cyclone is so cool though.
But what was I talking about before I got off topic?
Cyclone. You were going
Oh.
to talk about Cyclone.
Oh, I meant before that, but we'll go with Cyclone. Why? I don't know if you guys talked about this already. Why is he such an asshole?
Well, because he knows Maverick's history and he failed as an
surely-
instructor. He knows how his ego is.
But he knows he has to know how much of a skilled pilot he is as well.
Well, he
Mhm.
gives him that credit. Like he gives him that much. But he knows he's not a good teacher. Like the first day the guy throws away the instruction manual, and I don't think he likes how
Well,
much of his own way he does it and how he thinks he knows more. Like, all right, we're gonna do things differently,
Oh,
which
you
I
know
love,
what?
by the way. The classic,
Instinctual.
Take everything,
Yeah.
take everything you know, and toss it.
Cyclone
love
is
it. It's
the
a classic.
Iceman of the movie. In terms of he's the straight man who, I don't like the way you're doing things. I don't like how you do all these fancy stuff in your jets that cost millions of dollars. I don't like how you are going to be teaching these recruits all these dangerous maneuvers like going below the hard deck and doing all that, which, by the way, that was another ring theory of
Sure was.
him yelling at him for going below the hard deck, just like Viper did. And even doing like, this is set for the safety of you and your planes and your pilots and all that.
What is this? It's a request to lower the hard deck, sir.
Yeah, that was good.
That was fantastic.
Now that we're on the whole hard deck thing, I want to.
Now that you understand what it means.
Yeah, I want to. Well, that's the thing. I was just gonna say it is explained. You're right. They do kind of do a better job at explaining that a lot better what the hard deck is, and just like why there's certain rules that they follow and when they're training and everything like that. So
Safety, but you know what? In the real world, on the mission, it's not safe. These are the parameters of the mission. You have to stay below this level or else the SAMs are going to get you. You have to do this in immense climb, G-forces and all, to get out. There's no way out of it. Except when I was watching it last night, I thought, why couldn't they just do a turnaround and come back from where they came instead of going up the other side, all those coffin corner, you know?
Well,
why couldn't they turn around in the bowl of the caldera or whatever you want to call it?
Because that would have been tight too.
That would have been equally hazardous.
Yeah, because their momentum they're already going here. They just dropped a bomb, and immediately they have to drop it right there. And then immediately after, that's when they have to pull up. There's no opportunity to just be like, drop, let's just swing back around. Yeah, they can't.
And in the context and the logic of the movie, they would have thought of that also, probably.
But that's the whole thing with the training, though. The simulated trench run, essentially, kind of made the stakes higher. You know, like it was less of a
tension.
Yeah, adds tension. It was less of a let's pretend. You know, you actually felt like, you felt that they had to stay in that lane, and you know, but I don't know.
How far did you have Act 2 going? Since I didn't get to hear it because of my internet.
I had it
Tupperware?
ending
Iceman?
at when Maverick is made team leader.
Okay, cool. Speaking of what Joel was
Cool.
just
That's not
going
where I
off
had
of-
it, but we'll go with it. Great. Speaking of,
No, I actually did have it at that. Right after
Oh,
he shows
good.
that it can be done.
oh, good,
Right
you're
after he
wrong.
shows- which
It
is
actually
one of
ends
my-
with. Sorry.
Okay, shut.
Sorry.
You're right. Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. No, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie, if not my favorite part of the movie, is when he shows, like, the cyclone comes in. He's like, "Okay, we're lifting the hard deck. You're not to fly below 300 feet." 300 feet. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. We're lifting it up, and well, they're all complaining. Well, we're not going to make it. We're going to be sitting ducks. And then all of a sudden, you see, what's that? Who's that? Maverick. Maverick, I see we don't have a scheduled event for you. Well, I'm going anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, let's
And then
go.
he shows, and when they have the camera inside his cockpit showing like his facial expressions and stuff, and showing like the canopy or the what do you call it? The cockpit.
In the
I
cockpit,
think
the
there's a different
canopy.
name for it.
Same.
But when you see it like rotating and going like
Mhm.
from side to side, you can almost feel being in there with him, even though
Mhm.
it's in, like we saw it in 2D, but even though with just the motion, you can imagine yourself being in that plane and feeling the same sensations. And I'm trying to do it right now with my movements, but yeah, I just
You're like the Star Trek set from the 60s.
Like Michael Scott in Threat Level Midnight.
driving Michael Scott.
But yeah, even that, like, he didn't have to act to do because he was actually in a jet.
Yeah, it does give you the feeling that they're actually flying the jets, even though they're in another, like they're sitting behind actual pilots and they have to act like they are, but they are actually reacting to the G's, though the G forces and things like that. I actually that's such a cool sequence, such a
Of
cool
him doing
sequence.
the run. Yeah.
Yeah. What I didn't like was leading up to it, right beforehand, when
The Penny bit.
the Penny bit, because
We haven't even talked about Penny.
Penny. This will lead right into what I was talking about. Weakest aspect of the movie. I'll say it right now. Weakest
They had to
aspect of
have
the
it.
movie is the relationship between Penny and Pete.
Dude, I had to ask you, I was like, who the hell is this? I don't know
Yeah,
who this
he
is.
didn't even
I
know. And
surprisingly
I whispered
remembered.
to him. I said, "It's in the first movie with."
And I still
the
didn't
Admiral's
like. I
daughter.
still
You-
didn't understand.
You were
I was
talking
like,
during that entire movie.
It's the Admiral. When we go talk about we don't fuck the Admiral's daughter.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's the
But-
Admiral's daughter.
But it was the Admiral's daughter when he says, and by the way, one disubordination for flying over the Admiral's daughter. And then Goose is like, Penny Benjamin? And you, asshole.
Yeah. I teabagged her.
But
Wow.
wow,
What?
yeah. A lot of
I didn't say
class. You just,
No, they had tea
that you
together.
just showed.
They had tea.
Yeah.
But again with the Star Trek.
In
Tea. Oh,
terms-
great. Hot.
comparing the relationship with Charlie in the original movie I thought it played almost a bigger part in the first movie than this one does in this movie. I don't know. They served the
Well, because
same
she was their
purpose.
instructor.
She was an instructor, and her performance was that. She was intelligent. I'm not saying Penny Benjamin is stupid or anything.
She
I'm
is. I'm
just
just not saying it.
I'm just saying that it just didn't do it for me. It was the weakest aspect. She says the same lines like once or twice. The whole "I'll make you dinner, I'll make you dinner, I'll make you dinner" to her daughter. It's like, okay, you don't need to use the same line another time. Try a different line, so we're not repeating ourselves.
Mhm.
But just I did think the intimate talking sex scene, for lack of a better term, much better, more. It's more. What do I want to say?
I don't know.
it's more.
It's real quick. It just shows
tasteful.
them kiss, and then they're
It's tasteful.
talking.
It's
No
tasteful.
licking.
We don't
No-
get licking.
no teeth
we
licking.
don't get tongues touching each other. It's actually it's intimate in the sense they're having a heart-to-heart conversation concerning her daughter relative to his relationship to Rooster. That's what the scene is cementing there.
Right.
With her needing to trust her daughter to do the things that she wants to do, and Rooster needing to do. What are you doing?
The cat's on the table.
Okay.
There.
Cat's on the table and a silver spoon. But
and a black microphone.
and this is where we get the similar scene from the first movie, Ring Theory, to when he's talking to Charlie in her house after the beach scene, after the beach volleyball scene, the homoerotic volleyball scene. And he's talking to her about his relationship and the history with his father. This is where he is talking to Penny, coincidentally, after the what is it? Dogfight football scene. That obviously parallels the volleyball scene. But he's talking about his relationship to Rooster, trying to be his father that he lost, and how I'm not going to tell him that his mom didn't want him to do it, and that's why I did it, because he already resents me. Why should I cause him to resent her? And I was like, oh, that's good. I like that.
He sacrificed
actually
right
having a
there.
good
He
conversation.
sacrificed in Act 3.
And she does, to her credit, to this role's credit, she does what you were just talking about in the last scene, in the last movie with Viper. Like, it's not like telling somebody what they do. It's giving somebody food for thought, what they need to do. Not just telling them, you need to do this. It's asking questions and giving them food for thought for them to make it out for themselves, to learn.
Can I just say,
When she says, is that what Rooster's like? How is he ready now?
Jennifer Connelly, that's her name, right?
Yes, very attractive
I did
woman.
not realize how attractive she was, because in this movie,
Yes.
I'm like, my goodness. My goodness.
Yeah.
I will take
Speaking
Penny.
we got a funny
to
moment
the
about
bank.
that. Yeah, take the penny to the bank. Is that how you're going? Okay.
Spank Bank, what's your funny story?
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
Joel.
the bar goes back to the bar scene.
Take it
when
away.
She cut off your new album. She rings the bell, and what I think we went in to say essentially the same thing, but I was going to say, I bet he'd like to ring her bell, and I think you said,
Nice.
I feel like you
I'd
were
like
trying to say, oh, she can ring my bell.
That's
Like,
what I was going to say.
okay,
That's what I
well,
was going to
essentially-
say. And
but we went
turned
into
to each other
say-
at the same
yeah.
time. Yeah. We were going to say
and we
the
just
same
stopped.
thing.
We're like, oh, okay, we're going to say the
And
same
Joel's keeling over,
Yeah.
laughing in front of us.
thing. I just put my face in my hands because, like,
And I'm laughing. I'm holding it in. I'm going,
but anyway,
I'd like to get in her bell tower.
Spencer, you weren't there, so you should
No, I
feel
wasn't.
bad.
Her eyes, though, are
you should feel
gorgeous.
Her eyes are gorgeous. She's got a beautiful face.
I have my echo cancellation. I still heard one.
I don't mean
So
to
let me-
sound
do I have
creepy.
to make
All
it-
right, before
You got a
this
beautiful
turns into
Yeah.
before this,
Creepy Connolly hour.
yeah. Did we go over? We did not really talk about the Iceman.
We
Oh,
should right
my
now, and then we'll go to
word.
Act 3.
Yeah.
So Iceman's
very,
here.
very
He's the only
important.
reason Maverick is where he is. He's kind of protecting. Like, was handpicked by him. And
Right.
the Cyclone, he's like, you weren't my first choice. You weren't even on the list, fucker. But because Iceman, I admire him and I trust him.
He
Right.
wrote
He
that
said
in the
you're
margin.
good. He did. Yeah, what a scene. Like, Iceman,
Right.
this rivalry turned just friendship, and
Oh.
they did it respectfully with writing in the situation, because Val Kilmer's
With Val
real,
Kilmer's voice, yes.
real
Very,
thing,
very
and how they
well done.
recreated it. And I
Yes.
love even the end of their conversation, like after, like, you got to move on, you got to let it go. And, this deep emotional stuff. And Tom Cruise really carrying this scene, talking to him, but only getting written words back, so it's pretty much,
Dude,
he's acting against somebody who's not talking to him directly, so he's only feeding off words he's looking at, and he nailed it. But then when they hug and he finally when he does talk, it's a joke, and I love that because it's showing like, hey, I have to use my voice sparingly, but because of our history, I'm the words that I'm choosing to probably go through pain to say is a joke. Like, hey, who do you think's the better pilot? And then I love the response of, hey, we're having a good moment. Don't ruin it. And I love that he chose that to be his spoken word, like his one like actual line. Can you get down? Thanks.
Well, and then aside
Love
from
that kid.
what they need Maverick, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
Navy needs Maverick.
yeah,
The kid needs Maverick.
no, and to be honest, going into this, I was aware that Val Kilmer had health issues.
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware to the extent. So seeing this was a bit jarring, was hard for me. But this whole entire scene, because when I'm looking at Val Kilmer, I'm seeing Batman. I'm seeing
Right.
my childhood
Wayne.
hero. Like one of my childhood heroes, and it's hard to see a childhood hero have to endure that.
It is.
But I mean, it's Val, and he's on screen, and he's acting, and he's doing this amazing scene with Tom again, and it just it brightened me right up. And the fact of the matter is, I'm sorry, but as far as now zooming back in on the movie itself and Iceman and Mav, this gave me, seeing Iceman again, seeing Val as Iceman again, gave me a stronger emotional response as far as the hero returns than fucking Luke. TLJ for sure, but even in Force Awakens, probably. Even that. And I mean,
me too, dude.
They
brought Star Wars into the episode again. Ugh.
Listen, this movie parallels it a lot.
This is
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's the movie's based on Star Wars, for Pete's sake. They might as well give George a credit.
But better.
But
it is, yeah.
What were you want to finish your idea, Joel?
No, I just,
No, I don't.
It just, I guess the last thing I have to say is just the lesson I learned, or lesson we can learn, is just don't give up on our heroes quite yet. Don't give up on them.
Well,
clearly, like they have a lot,
dude.
Don't lose
Would
hope.
you say don't lose that love and feeling?
I would.
Good one. I just saw I read about an interview that he just did recently where they asked him if he would be interested in being Batman or Bruce Wayne again. He said, yeah, please. And I would love to see that as old Bruce.
I'd rather see him than Michael Keaton.
Well, you won't be seeing Michael Keaton because he doesn't exist anymore.
Honestly, good. They handled it. That sucks what WB did, but good. Not a movie I was interested in. Thanks. Okay, moving on.
I wasn't either. But in terms of my thoughts on the Iceman scene, I thought that was his actual voice. I didn't know the extent to which his voice was damaged by the throat cancer. And I heard him in an interview on ET, and I was like, oh, wow, that's way worse than it was in the movie. But they had used that, I forget the organization, the AI, the team that's he's working with to recreate his voice, which he has an amazing voice, by the way. I was incredible. It's incredible watching that scene and hearing his voice. So well done. It sounds so natural.
Even his daughter said so. She was like, that's my dad's voice. Like in an interview. She's like, that's it. They did it.
Wow. And even in the movie, it sounded amazing. And I wonder how much they had to do to alter that to make it sound like that in the sound design stage. But they did a fantastic job bringing him back in as kind of the Viper character.
It was a perfect cameo.
In terms of, it's a very clear connection to that scene with Viper where he's giving Maverick the pep talk to kind of get him
Yeah.
back into sorts.
But this
And I
is more
thought-
personal because they knew, like, they had a history. You know,
Right,
I
right,
found
and
the
the
flaw.
whole-
I found the flaw in the film. When the last interaction they should have had was, don't ruin the good moment, and he should have just looked at him and gone, found the
Now,
flaw.
that would have ruined it. No,
There it is.
that would have been
Great.
funnier.
No, I joke. I want to go on record as saying that was a joke. There's no flaws in this movie.
Something
Okay,
I would
carry
have
on.
liked. Something I would have liked for them to do was to have, and I talked about it the last episode. I believe that it was Iceman's fault, and I would like to believe that Iceman knew that it was partially his fault what happened to Goose, the tragedy of what happened to Goose, with what he did by pulling out the way he did, and he didn't take the shot. I thought it would have been. I was kind of thinking about how they could have changed the scene here a little bit for him to include that, to acknowledge that, and then maybe they could have had a little moment there,
Sure.
and that might have helped take the responsibility off for Goose's death off of Maverick's shoulders that he's been shouldering for 30 years. I actually believe it's the reason why he hasn't risen above captain, not only because of his insubordinate behavior, but because maybe he doesn't want to go above that rank because he doesn't have Goose with him, because he doesn't want to go beyond what he and Goose.
There's a
were
guilt
at.
complex.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally gets past it through his relationship that builds with Rooster in this movie. But I would have liked him to say, maybe type on the computer, or maybe even say it for the stronger emotional impact. I didn't take the shot, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He could have said, I didn't take the shot. And Maverick would have known exactly what he was talking about. And the audience probably could have tuned into exactly what he was talking about, and they could have shared a moment with that.
Yeah.
See, then they could have, and that would have been fine, maybe. But I'm glad they didn't, because then that could leave a bad. It's that cliche of, hey man, like, I'm sorry after all these years, but it's not about that. It's about you, like, it's his son. Like, you gotta move forward,
right?
And who knows? Again, it's been
get
36 years. They probably have talked about that. It wouldn't just be coming up 36 years later.
Right. But I it could be both ways, I think.
Sure.
But I get what you're saying too, where it kind of adds it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hearing it from you now, so I haven't thought about it as much.
Yeah, I think they wanted to have the connection from the old film, but not just constantly be beating you over the head with, yup, Goose is dead. Yup, Goose is dead.
Right.
Yup, Iceman knows Goose is dead. Yup, Cyclone knows Goose is dead. Rooster knows his dad is dead.
It's
Like,
part of the reason why the sequel, it's not just your conventional sequel where they're going to do all the beats and do what you expect them to do. Like the whole, oh, you're responsible for my dad's death, and that's going to be the main central conflict.
So glad they didn't do that.
But it's no, because you pulled my papers because you're trying to be like my dad, sort of a deal.
In the next act, we get
Rooster doesn't
moment.
think I don't think he thinks he's trying to be like his dad, but he doesn't know why. Given what he says to him after Phoenix and Bob have their near accident, which probably reminded him of what happened with Goose during a training accident like that. And we even get the whole thing where Maverick says it's going to happen again. You fly long enough, it's going to happen. And that's another ring theory to the last movie. But he says what? I'm not ready enough to fly like you. So it makes it sound like, oh, you're holding me back because you're afraid of my potential, sort of thing.
I want more, and I know I shouldn't. He's holding me back.
He's Anakin.
There's another parallel, except better.
And you're talking about characters. We're talking about characters. I think Rooster is Maverick post Goose. Rooster is Maverick post Goose, where he doesn't have that. He knows what happens to his dad. He knows that flying is dangerous, so he's playing it too safe. He's holding his cards too close to the chest.
Flying just a little too slow.
Right. I love this song.
What
Slow
what
ride
song?
during the
Oh
bar
yeah,
scene. I didn't
like
get
they're
that at
dynamic.
first,
The characters dynamic with each other, so perfect.
but he was way out of line doing that. I know I'm flying all over the wall here in terms of
Yeah,
bouncing
but
from one thing to another.
y- every character goes a little too far. But
Right. That
I
was
I
way
was
out of
telling
line.
Joel, that's the worst thing he does, and that's redeemable. Like, okay, yeah,
Another thing that
let's
took
pull it
me out
back.
of it was they have that altercation, and then like a scene later, they're all buddy buddy kind of during the touchdown football thing.
Well, because I think they got it all out. There it was, and now here we're same
Mhm.
team. Let me help you up, Dad.
I don't know. Could they have put in a scene there where they could have had some sort of show of mutual respect, just a little, even if it was like, even if it was like what Hangman does later in the movie when he says "give him hell" and just walks away. Even if they had like a, "Hey, your old man was a good whatever he did," and then that kind of patched things up a little bit.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it kind of was jarring that they just had this big fight about something intensely personal as the death of your parent, and he lost both of his parents, and
Right.
it's not addressed. It just kind of bugged me.
Well, do we want to go to Act 3 and just talk about the really, really good stuff?
So yes,
I didn't like the jumping. Just talking a little bit more about the Penny Benjamin. First, sailing. I like how it shows Maverick in a position of being uncomfortable and not prepared and
incompetent.
not knowing what he's. Yeah, it kind
I
of
thought you were in the Navy.
quote unquote humanizes him a little bit and kind of takes this legend status off where
Knocks him
okay,
down a
he's-
peg. Yeah.
right, he's an amazing pilot, but he can't sail for shit.
Sailor? No thanks.
He lands
But-
on boats. He doesn't.
Sailor, I hardly know her.
I liked how he taught the class about doing the trench run. He's like, "Why'd you slow down? Why didn't you communicate? Don't tell me.
Tell it to his
him."
family.
Right, because
Tell-
he knows
oh,
what
yes.
that experience is like.
He puts the guilt and the weight on them.
Right.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I
But at
like.
the same time, it's like, dude, chill. Don't like project your insecurities or
No,
whatever.
you
but
gotta.
that's
You
serious,
gotta fire
though.
him up.
Yeah.
You gotta have that real world implications there. You have to
Right.
do that.
And I
You
did
have
like
to do
the
that.
dogfight football scene was great in terms of cementing them all as a group of being a team and getting together and doing something fun instead of competing in a high octane setting like they do in
Yeah,
the
just bring
training
him
and the jets
down.
and
Have
stuff.
some fun. Open it up. Everybody have a good time. Then I'm gonna go have sex with Penny.
What you guys? I would have preferred. Well, the intimate scenes being used as a device to tell us important information. I like that they kept from the first movie. I didn't like how he left the house.
I did. I thought that was
It
fine.
bugs me. I don't like it. Just leave. Just go downstairs. You don't put your clothes on. Go
Just
downstairs. She doesn't know that you were banging.
Well, what were they doing?
Oh,
over
the
then?
fall from the window.
What if
Yeah,
he
the
just
fall from
walked
the
down?
window.
So Christian, you just want him to walk down. Oh yeah, fucked your mom. Well, I'll
Well,
I'm gonna
no,
take
wait,
off
wait,
now.
Wait. What if he and her walk down? He said, "Oh, hey, Amelia," and blah 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 blah, and then he leaves.
And then she just goes, like for Forrest
Oh
Gump.
my gosh.
Wow.
Okay.
No.
Forrest
Wait,
Gump
no.
reference there, just so
They
we all.
come downstairs and don't do the whole cliche shtick where they're coming downstairs and they're like, "Oh, hey,
When
I didn't
two
know you were
people
home,"
love
and they're like
each other.
still putting their clothes on. Like, come downstairs, be like, "Hey, Amelia, oh, I was just coming over to I had to pay a bar tab again. Well, see you some other time, whatever." And then he could
By
have
bar tab, do you mean boner?
She rang my bell. See ya.
I ordered something
Could've left-
from
he could've
36 years ago. And it's
he
in my-
could have left, and Amelia and her mom could have had a moment, and that would have
Nah.
made her a more fun character with
I
her and her
liked it.
daughter, instead of being like, "Don't break her heart again." Like, not to make fun of the
I'll
kid
try
actress,
not
but
to.
that just suck the air right out of your ass.
Well, that's not where you suck air.
No, that's not how it works. You blow air out of it.
Ha
Yeah, that's not okay. So how about Act 3? You want to do it?
That's not what I meant to say.
And Joel, just so you know, we're probably
That's
going to go over
gross.
too.
I'm sorry.
I don't care, but Riverside does.
It's inevitable. You can't not with this one. There's
It's
so much more
okay.
stuff to talk
It's
about.
okay.
Okay.
Editing's
Okay.
gonna be
We're using our
nightmare.
backups.
no matter what.
Okay. Let's go to Act 3 though.
Okay.
You mocking me? Your
I
call
ain't
sign
calling
is
you a
bitch now.
truther.
Okay, so your call sign is now bitch.
No, that's not.
Okay,
Correct.
fine. Act 3. Oh man, this I might get choked up talking about it, but here we go. Here we go. Talk to me, Goose. Maverick prepares for the mission. He chooses Phoenix and Bob, Payback and Fanboy, and he chooses Rooster as his wingman, with the rest of the people, Hangman included, being reserves. The mission is on, and the two teams embark through the skies. Everything runs smooth, and Dagger 1, that's Maverick's group, does their job. They do the trench run. They blow the thing up. Rooster is falling behind because he's known to think too much and go just a little slow. And excuse me while I fight back tears, but he says, "Talk to me, Dad," to which Maverick, without knowing that he says that, says, "Come on, kid." And he's the father he always tried to be after Goose's passing.
Mm-hmm.
Rooster kicks it into high gear and gets on schedule, but Fanboy's laser targeting system fails, and Rooster eyeballs it and goes bullseye with the missile. They all, and a sweet explosion effect there too underground. They all escape the trench, but they are attacked by those radar missiles, and it's a fight for their lives. Just as Rooster is about to be shot down, Maverick takes the missile and he goes down. Everybody thinks he's dead, and everybody is ordered to come back. Maverick is alive. Somehow, Maverick has returned in the forest. He gets shot at by a helicopter, but hold the fucking phone, because Rooster comes out of nowhere and shoots it down, but then gets taken out, and he ejects, just like I did watching this movie. The two, now on foot, steal an F-14 Tomcat. We're going old school, and they take to the skies, but they're found by some of these fifth-generation fighters, and they're in a dogfight. Maverick takes one out, but they're no match for the other, and all hope is lost when they can't eject. But what's that? Hangman, the guy known to leave you hanging, saves the day. They all make it home. Maverick does his signature, buzzes the tower, and we all cheer. Hangman gives props to Rooster. Maverick and Rooster embrace. I'm crying. They hug. Rooster pays tribute to his dad and Maverick. And then now the parallel picture with him and Maverick. Maverick and Penny literally fly off into the sunset in his P-51 Mustang as Lady Gaga plays us out. Oh boy. I'm just going to tell you, last night I'm sitting there watching this, and the whole third act, I'm like, okay, I'm good. But when Rooster looks at the picture of his dad and Maverick and then like hits the wall, and then there's the picture of him and Maverick, like I cried. Like it just came out. I'm like, that's going to get me every time I watch this freaking movie. That's going to get me every time. And it did. It got me. But man, what a third act.
It's fantastic.
God damn.
It's so fantastic.
Like, and it could have been a generic fight scene, but it wasn't.
Right.
And they even threw in one of the moment I was telling you about where I laughed out loud last night, a real laugh, when, the whole movie, Maverick is telling him, don't think. Like, don't think. And then after the crash, he's
Just
running
do.
toward him. And then Maverick just shoves him. And he's like, what are you doing? Or what were you thinking?
I
And
just
he
saved
goes,
your
you
life.
told me not to think. And then that silence where he's just like,
It's good to see it. Yeah.
right? Like when
Yeah.
he throws his arms up, I'm dying because
That
Maverick is like, I did tell him that. Like, what were you thinking? You told me not to.
that was
Shit,
when
he got
that
me.
was when it
He
turned.
got
Yeah.
me.
That was when you start seeing the Maverick and Goose dynamic come back.
That shouldn't
between
have
him and his
worked.
son.
That had no right being a funny moment that works. No right. It shouldn't have worked. In any other movie, that wouldn't work and it won't work and they shouldn't have done it. But in this movie, it worked.
And he is just like his dad too. Like you're
Mhm.
gonna fly. We're gonna fly out of here in that bag of ass or whatever. the
The
F-14.
F-14. They brought
I
that
love that.
museum
He's
piece
like,
back.
There's a guy over there, Mav. There's another guy over there. All right, let's start running.
Yeah.
And then the signals.
There-
the
there's
What does
signals.
that sign
Yep.
mean? I have no
Just
idea.
smile and wave.
Yeah.
What about that?
Or
one?
the-
I
or the
haven't seen that one either. Yeah, haven't seen that one either. No, but those jets, they reminded me. And listen, I'm mentioning the air show again. The
What's your
Raptor.
TK number?
These
exactly.
looked and resembled probably a couple different, like actual 5th gen fighters. But like when they're flying, I'm like, I saw something. Like it was just great when they did that maneuver where he moves out of the way of the missile and then Rooster.
Right.
What the fuck was that?
What was that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I saw him do that.
That was
But
sweet.
that hit. Their one use of the fuck word really worked.
The fuck
I-
was that? Yeah.
That whole scene I loved. It was funny how it started out like not having the hand signals, which kind of mirrors the whole flipping the bird thing
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the last movie. Keeping up foreign relations. But I love how when he convinces Maverick, he's like, "Come on, Mav, if I weren't here, you'd be on him already. It would be a dogfight."
But you are
He's like,
here.
But you are here. And the way he says that, I really like it. And he's like, just don't. I thought it got a little hammy when he said, "Come on, Mav, don't think, just do."
But I love it.
And then Maverick jets off to the side, fires like some shots off, takes out one of the 5th generation fighters, and I was like, all right, that was cool.
Like, let's
That was
go.
cool. And then he's doing all like just knowing the stakes of it, like he knows that he's doing this for Rooster. He's doing it to keep him alive. He doesn't.
Well,
I don't
and
think
he's doing it
cares
for
about
Goose.
himself. Right. He's doing it for Goose. He's doing it for Rooster. He's doing it for the legacy. He doesn't care about himself. That's why he wanted to do the mission in the first place, because he knew this is no one's coming back from this one. I'll do it because what do I have left? I'm not going up in the Navy. I'm staying as a captain. And maybe I'll see Goose again. Maybe that's going in his head. But it's the whole third act, just starting off, alongside what you mentioned about him saying, "Talk to me, Dad," and then it cuts right to Maverick as he says, "Come on, kid,
Krista
you got it.
pointed
Don't
that
think,
out.
just do." Oh man,
Jeez.
that's a great example of an edit that has intention behind it. Another one is when he said he's talking to, "Hey, Maverick, Captain Mitchell," and they're trying to talk. I just wanted to say, and then you get the radio chatter, blocks over it, and Maverick's like, "We'll talk later. We'll talk later." And says, "Okay, oh, Bradley." What does he say to him as he's walking away? "You got this. You got this.
Yeah.
You got this." And then you hear Hondo, Maverick, and then it cuts forward to Maverick like lost in thought. And I love that edit because it shows that we see that happen in real time, him talking to Rooster, but then the way they cut it makes it seem like we're looking into Maverick's mind into what he was thinking about that conversation with Rooster. The way they made that edit, I loved that. Very good edit there to move forward and kind of add a twist to the time aspect of when things take place.
Yeah. And then definitely want to touch on the trench run. As I alluded to earlier, and it is a trench run. It is that Star Wars Death Star trench run, but it is better. It's higher stakes. It's and the whole. As soon as is it Payback? Who or Bob? Who is struggling with the laser? Is it
Fanboy?
Fanboy.
Okay, as soon as that
Turn
started
off your
happening,
targeting
I was like,
computer.
I know what this is going to be.
Yep.
This is the Luke switching off his radar. This is the Luke
Yep.
or targeting computer. This is that, and that's exactly what it was. And I'm just like, damn it! How was that better? How would
Right.
like
yeah.
yeah.
How you
Dude,
just said that? I'm
dude,
sitting there the whole time going, "How is this movie? How is this movie perfect?"
Yeah. How is this a
Dude,
better blowing up Death Star moment right now?
The funny
Jeez.
thing about it, Joel, is they do it in a way that doesn't seem like a ripoff.
Mhm.
It doesn't seem like a unoriginal ripoff of Star Wars.
Right.
I think it's clearly inspired by that, obviously.
Well,
But
it
you're not
helps that
sitting
it
there-
takes place in I don't know, present day, and
I know, yeah,
is more
Real world implications.
not a long time ago in a galaxy far away, but
Mhm.
I just love I appreciate that. Yes, this whole thing is a trench run. It's very Star Wars inspired, but it doesn't feel unoriginal
no.
in the context of the movie. Like
No.
seems like I love how straightforward the mission is too.
Right.
Like
They
it's-
don't
it's-
complicate it with a big old.
No.
We got to go big with the plot. No.
It
Keep the
reminds
plot
me of
simple.
something from a video game. Like in terms
I
of
hope they make this into a video game.
you can play in Ace Combat 7. You can download a Top Gun Maverick DLC pack with the Dark Star, the F-18. You can
This
do
makes
it
me
in
want
Microsoft
get
Flight Simulator. You
a
can
war
get
game.
Top Gun ships. It's cool.
Like
It
I've
makes me
never
want to
liked.
get the full cockpit set up with the joystick and everything.
Just
Dude,
I've
and
never
speaking-
liked the flying levels in any game. I'm just like,
Right.
this is stupid. Give me the flying levels now.
Speaking of
after
flying
watching
levels
this.
in video games, the way their formation is, their attack formation, or not the attack formation, but when they're flying
Yeah.
Stay in attack formation.
when they're flying into the fog, and you've got Maverick in front, two guys on the side, slightly elevated, and then the one in the back. I was like, that's Star Fox 64 right there. Just like when you open a mission,
Oh wow.
you open into a mission and they're flying in that
Yeah.
diamond-shaped formation, and I was like, that's Star Fox
Yeah.
and their squadron. Like they're all teammates. Why hasn't there been a Star Fox movie?
Because there's a Top Gun
modeled
Maverick
after
movie.
this. Model one after this. But
It's
also
your moment, Christian.
when they're in the F-14,
Write it.
when they're in the F-14, they get on the runway and they're opening the wings. I'm thinking to myself, Fox McCloud, open the wings from Star Fox 64.
Why are the
All
wings
range
coming out?
mode. And I was like, that. I wonder if they had that in mind. I
Wouldn't be
doubt it,
surprised.
but it would be interesting if it'd be like a little, I'm going to put this little thing in there, and then maybe people will figure
No one's
it
gonna
out.
know.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm
Except for
doing
this
it,
one
I'm
guy
projecting
right
my
here.
own desires onto the movie.
Except
But
for
I
the
thought
one
that was
Nintendo
really-
nerd in the crowd.
He's in the theater. Guys, they do the same thing in Star Fox 64, Nintendo 64, 1972. Yep. It's the game Star Fox. He meets his dad, and then they have to fly in the cockpit together. So there's a big wall in front of them. They have
Funny thing is,
25 meters to get up in the air. He puts the wings
I'll
out.
go
Star
out
Fox
nerd on-
shoots
I'll
up
go
over the
out
wall.
nerding on you. If you go the hardest route in Star Fox 64, on the upper hardest route through Zone S and Aquas and all that,
I don't know.
you don't know. Well, that's too bad. I'm going to tell you. You make it to Venom, you get to the end, you fight the real Andross. After you beat him,
What
like the
fuck? No
ghost
way.
of James McCloud shows up, kind of if a goose Ghost showed up. Ghost Goose showed up, and he leads Fox out of the tunnels of the base back to safety.
All right, I'll play it.
You got to play it. It's on. You have an N64, don't you?
No, I sold it.
Oh, that's
Well, that was
right.
foolish.
Well, I have a
Well,
Switch, and you can
I
play
never played it.
N64 games on it. I'll have to show you sometime.
I'll borrow yours. You have a Nintendo
Yeah,
64 still,
yeah.
right?
Yes,
I'll
I do.
borrow yours.
And I still have Star Fox 64. It's amazing. Those games are like over 20 years
And
old.
then we'll
would-
do
I
a,
would
s-
play it.
a special Sequelman Star Fox stream.
I would love to do that.
Sure.
I would love to do that. But
Maybe.
anyway,
Me
back
too.
to
How about
the
this movie, though? I think I'm just gonna say this. This is a perfect
ahead.
Act 3.
Go ahead.
It is.
It's a perfect Act 3.
I love
Everything
the absence
hits.
of music.
Yeah, I knew you would. I'm sitting there talking to Krista. I'm like, hey, you notice that there is no music, and you know who's gonna bring this up tomorrow? Christian Bring It All, and he's gonna be right. He's gonna be right about it. This is brilliant.
And when they fly up and over at Coffin Corner, they accomplish the mission. Well, they're almost there. But when they start getting attacked by the Sams, that's when the music starts coming in, and I almost want it. I almost want him to keep the music out because it was so intense watching them go through the trench and go up through the
Grinch.
incline,
Oh, wow.
the incline there with the G's, and then when they do that, they do the inverted turn down into the bowl, for lack of a better term, and that you just hear that as they go down, and then it cuts to the next. Oh man, the use of sound design in this movie is great as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very well done. I would not be surprised if this movie swept the Oscars next year. And I did read an article headline alluding to that as well. But the movie's just such a phenomenon. I think it's going to take a lot of awards back home from.
And
the
it'll
Oscars.
deserve every one that it wins.
I don't know. Avatar 2 might give it a run for its
Oh,
money.
sweet Jesus. You had
I'm
to
gonna
mention
burn
it.
Avatar to the ground. Every piece of film.
Oh
I'm
my
stealing
God.
it and burning it in
Oh,
a
so
bonfire.
he's the guy standing in the ships drinking his coffee, watching the tree burn. That's Spencer.
Hmm If that movie got canceled, I would be just fine.
You are a Grinch.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, guys. At the
Don't
beginning-
blow me. What?
At the beginning of the act, ring theory. Let me time code this
We
for us.
both reached down for our pens and
Yeah.
I got a thought. Let me just find it. What was
We
I
are
gonna
trying to be
say?
on it. But you know what? When he's looking out at the water, talk to me, Goose. When you probably meant this at the beginning when you said it, Spencer. You think about that scene in Top Gun when he throws his dog tags into the water.
Yep.
And that's what that was going back to. I like that. That's good filmmaking.
Great filmmaking, if you will.
Even if it wasn't intentional, which it probably was.
it was.
Oh
Right.
man, but
I mean, can we just talk for a sec about the fact that they're in F-14 Tomcat from the first Top Gun, and Maverick is piloting it, and
Right.
Thing's old
fucking
as
Rooster is sitting
is.
where Goose is sitting.
it's a shit box.
try flipping the
That was your dad's
the
department.
number 2
I don't.
breaker.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
did you catch the line when they're in the dogfight?
do some
The
pilot shit.
do
Yeah.
some of that pilot shit. I'm like, he said his dad said
Ring
that.
theory.
That's a literal.
Let me grab my
That's-
pen.
That's probably one of my favorite moments. I mean, there's a lot of my favorite moments, but the whole movie is my favorite moment. But that moment when he says that, I'm like, dude, let's go, dude. Come on, they're gonna win. Like, come
Right.
on. The movie's
Yeah.
called Maverick. Let's go.
I know. And my dad, we watched it last night, and my dad didn't get to see it in theaters. We got it on digital last night, and we watched it.
I bought it
He-
at 12:01.
Oh,
my God.
That's so.
I
I'm
happened to
gonna
be
say
awake.
it.
Like, I
Okay,
happened to
I'll
be
say it
awake. I
later.
did not plan it, but I bought it.
My
12:01.
dad watched it, and he saw that, Maverick gets shot down. We can't go after him. It's over. We're not losing another guy. We're going back. And then it goes to black on Rooster's eyes, and he's like, "Well, that's a shitty way to end it," or something like that. And then it goes to Maverick, and I was like, they do a great job of making these. I feel like I'm just doing stream of conscious at the moment, but just those Hind D helicopters, they make them look so imposing
Yeah.
and just deadly. Like it just turns like, gotcha, bitch.
Oh shit!
And I'm glad Maverick didn't like pull out a pistol or something and start shooting at it. Like that would have been dumb.
No, it
Like,
had
that's
to be
something you would have
Rooster
seen
coming
in
to save
something
him.
else.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah, like
totally
Star
reminded me
Wars.
of the Han Solo moment. Like, whoa! You know, in the end of A New Hope. Oh,
Right.
So
and
cool.
guys.
Yep.
Okay, we are going heavy on this right now. Another ring theory. When you see me look down and ding ding.
You're like Jimmy Fallon with the thank you notes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pete Mitchell for saving my life. Signs, licks, sets aside. Anyway, but no, when he saves Rooster by flying above him, releasing the flares, I'm all out of flares, and then Maverick comes in. That's the same maneuver that he used against Rooster earlier in the movie when he shot him down. And I was like, oh,
That little Cobra move.
Yeah. And I love, and this is from way back in Act 1, but just the inverted positions when he was upside down. Call back to the first movie when they flipped the bird to the other driver, the pilot driver. Well, they do call them drivers sometimes. I've heard him say
I'm
that
a
in
jet
movies.
driver. Yeah, I'm an Air Force driver.
How about, yeah.
Pilot, I believe,
We're
is the word
mature.
you're looking for.
Speaking of all the fancy maneuvers, I do have a couple of, if they're going to play, I do want to touch on the flight training, which is something I had a clip of flight training for Top Gun, but they touched on it again for this movie. So about all the training they actually make them go through. We want to take a look at that. Hopefully it'll work.
Sure thing, pal.
I mean, it was a lot. What Tom does for fun, I think, is other people's like hell. It really was quite tough, but the only way this film happens is if you have somebody like Tom dedicating as much time and effort to us.
Tom designed a 3-month training course for them to go through because he had shot the first Top Gun. He's a pilot, he flies aerobatics, he's done aerial sequences in movies for years. So he designed a program that would get them as ready as they could be.
Yeah, so
That's
they
really
actually put him
pretty
through it.
cool.
And, you saw it. The one that I had from the Top Gun behind the scenes essentially showed the same stuff, the water submersion. And then, they had a simulation where they simulate ejection and all this stuff. So it's the real deal. Like, you have to train to become a pilot, even though you're going to be in the Rio seat. Like, you got to prepare for all those
You gotta
G's,
know how to act.
Right.
And then this one's a little bit lighter. This is kind of about happy mistakes. Shots they kept in either because they had no choice or actually just because they had no choice. So
I
we'll
bet
see.
this is the roof.
For these pilots, when they go over a mountain peak, they don't go over like this. As soon as they get to the top, they go inverted and then go down there, and then they flip back over. And there's 1 or 2 times doing that where I came out of my seat and I actually it's in the movie actually, I hit my head on the canopy and I thought it was an unusable take, but those are oftentimes the ones you end up using.
His straps should have been tighter, but it looks so great to see him drop out of his straps. We left that in the film. Even the scene where Dark Star flies over Ed Harris, it destroyed the set. You watch, it rips the roof off the guard shack. That was not planned. That was a one-take thing where we destroyed the set, and that's the only shot we got, and that's in the movie.
Yeah,
I
those
didn't
are
know
sweet.
that was a real shot.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Oh,
there
yeah.
was some CGI that had
Nope.
something to do with that. And was
He
that really Ed Harris? that
Fucking
was
blew the
standing there?
roof off of the shack. Yeah. Oh,
Dude.
that's great.
You know what? Some people could have taken that, like when Rooster, because I noticed that in the movie how he got out of his seat. I didn't think of it as an accident, but that's funny knowing, that's just homage to when Goose
Oh.
hit his head on the
Oh.
can. Dark joke. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Wow,
No,
nice
you're
job.
correct.
But you're all,
on
I'm glad you-
accident.
I'm
On
glad you brought
accident.
that up, Spencer, because when they're about to hit the nose of that other 5th gen, when it shows up over the water, and he tells him, "When I tell you to pull the ejection handle," and I was like, "Oh no, this is like just like in the first
Oh, yeah.
movie."
Yeah.
But and I was thinking, is there some sort of divine intervention here, or
I don't think
something
so.
with Goose in terms like that it wasn't working. His ejection handles weren't working, so therefore the canopy wouldn't go, and they were in an F-14 again, where that happened.
Man, that's so
And I was thinking, wow, it's kind of takes that tragedy in the first movie, kind of flips it, even in a small way. Just this is the same kind of scenario that they were in training, but now they're in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
But last movie, it was Maverick's ejection wasn't working.
Yeah. Oh, he's gone again. That
I'll be
one was
back.
without notice. He's gone.
Fuck you. Yeah.
But yeah, he couldn't eject. I will. Bye. And he's back
I'm
again.
starting not to like this program.
Oh, the program. It's not your internet. He couldn't eject, but I can watch.
Yeah. I'm out of here.
No, this man, all the action, all the everything is just perfect, man. That's the word. That's the best word I can use to describe this third act specifically. But the entire movie, all the lines that should be cheesy and not work are delivered perfectly. The acting is great, the story's great, everything is great. The sets, everything is great. Like, I mean, they say all the line, to talk to me, Dad. I'm like, okay, well now I'm bawling. That's great. Come on, kid. All right, well, cool. You're going to make me cry even harder than I didn't think I could? All right, here we go. We're going to do it. We're going to blow the thing, and then here we go.
I don't know if you can tell, but I shaved.
I
And
can.
I left just the mustache. But
I noticed that, bro.
It's been a week later.
Should we have all done that?
Oh, yeah, you showed up to the movie, and he's just got I'm just like, okay, well, you're serious about this. But
I was inspired. I kind of like the goose look. I kind of like the goose rooster look.
Because it's badass, dude. Gooster.
But I guess that just about does it. We can give our final kind of thoughts and
we got to rank it.
The movie.
I got the recap. We got a special thing. There, man. But dog, this movie slaps harder than any other movie I've ever seen. Can I say it anymore? I mean, it just does.
And it just makes me so. I love this, Spencer. I love this complete 180. I've said it about 5 times probably now. Just the going to see Doctor Strange. We get a 5-minute preview of Top Gun, and you're just like farting all over the movie. I don't give a shit.
I am.
I don't care. Boring. You're treating it like it's Avatar.
I admit
and then
it.
You watch Top Gun, you're like, oh wow, that was awesome. I can't wait to see Maverick. And then you see Maverick, and now it's your favorite movie. I love that. I love it.
Like, who'd have thought? I think that's why it works, because my expectations were like,
maybe
and then I was like,
happen with
okay.
Avatar 2.
No, I don't think so. That's different.
No, I know.
Because I didn't like the first one, but this one I liked the first one. I was ready for the next one. With that one, I have a cat hair on my nose.
You've been struggling for a while there with your face.
Because it's just there's stuff on my face.
Have you heard him in past episodes? There's some episodes
where he's talking like this because he's got so much dander in his nose.
Well, the cat is sitting right here. I have microscopic cat fur on my face. I just can't get off. It looks like I'm doing cocaine. I can't get it all out.
Spencer's doing blow while we're trying to record.
Guys, I have a theory as to why the Rogue Squadron movie got delayed.
Because nobody wants it. Hey, how about this?
I think it's because Top Gun Maverick came out, and I think they're trying to rework the movie to be kind of inspired by this one.
Well, wasn't this originally slated for 2019, and then COVID fucked it? Yeah,
this was all made in 2019.
But now the Rogue Squadron movie is like, I guess, getting reworked or something. and I'm thinking, wouldn't a Star Wars movie dealing with X-Wings and all that cool stuff?
Probably
Wouldn't
because
that
they
be-
have another trench run. They're like, well, we can't have that now.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
They
if we
already
saw
did it
one
again in
with
7.
Star Wars pilots, not interested until after seeing this. Anything aviation flying, I'm like, yep, okay, cool.
Dude,
Now I'm
a
in.
Star Wars aviation movie like styled after this would be awesome.
I
I
mean,
would
good
love
luck,
to see that.
but
I would
I'll
love
watch
to
it.
see that.
I'll watch it now. So
Absolutely.
you're welcome, Star Wars. Thank Maverick,
Top
Yeah.
Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
Maybe he was doing cocaine and he's just making
And then
it
I
up.
think, what if this happened, guys? This whole plan, every 36 years, we get a Top Gun sequel. Let's just.
I don't know
Wow.
if I
Let's keep
want
our
another. I don't know if I want another
Oh,
Top Gun movie.
I don't. I want it to be just how because it's
Don't.
perfect.
Like he
Frickin-
said to Iceman, we have a good thing going. Let's not ruin it. Let's not have, I just get the thought into my mind as studios seeing how much money they're making and how much critical acclaim it's getting, and they want to make another one. They want to
Well, but
make
look at
another
Tom
one.
Cruise in Mission Impossible. Look at those. He's a part of big stuff, so I bet he'd do it.
Miles Teller did say he was talking. They were talking to Tom Cruise and had floating it around the idea of a Top Gun 3.
Top
But
Gun Rooster.
I would like a Top Gun 3 if they were to do one, to take Maverick beyond being just a captain. Maybe
Top Gun, Birds of a
he's
Feather.
finally moved past the grief and tragedy of what happened to Goose, and maybe he can become something more, and he'll allow himself to do that. I think that would be an interesting area to explore.
All right.
And nobody died in this movie.
Well,
And I don't say that as like
Iceman.
I'm disappointed. I'm just other than Iceman, I'm talking about like in
No, yeah.
combat or in training.
I thought Maverick did, and then he didn't. And I was like, okay, they're gonna kill Rooster, and then they didn't.
Oh yeah,
they're
that
gonna
whole
kill
thing.
Phoenix. Nope.
Yeah.
Coyote. Nope. Bob. Nope. None of them.
That was so wild how they excuse me, how they like ping ponged you, like oh shit, Maverick's gone. Oh, but okay, then Rooster's gonna
Rooster, he's supersonic. Like that moment on the radar.
Impossible. He can fly.
Oh yeah. He can fly.
But then we didn't even talk about Hangman coming in. Of course, it
Pete-
was telegraphed.
Peter Mitchell Pan.
But he comes in and he said, "This is your savior speaking," and it's like, you son of. This was earned. This was earned for him to be the hero. God, there is cat hair in my mouth. I cannot. It will not go
man.
away.
Dude, going off of you and Hangman, I do like how he's kind of humbled by being put in the reserve, kind of like how Maverick was. See, that
And he
goes
didn't
back
throw a
to him.
fit.
No,
They could have done
Maverick.
that.
He's this movie's Maverick.
You're right, dude. Like, fuck you for being right. You're right, dude. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean.
Oh, well, thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Where the hell?
You would even consider that. I mean, no.
Okay. I would.
No, I'm joking. I'm going along.
Oh,
I think the beach
Dude.
volleyball scene got you both in the mood.
Okay, but I will say that shot of Miles Teller when he does that thing during the football. You know what clip I'm talking about?
no.
When he does that thing where he like snaps his finger during the dogfight football scene, where he like chest bumps somebody. It's in the trailer. I'll have to show you the clip.
Anyway,
Yeah,
what
show
about
us
it?
the clip.
I don't know. He just looks kind of cool in that clip.
What's next?
And if
What
I
are we
tried to
doing?
do something like that, I would look weird.
What do you mean, what's next? Oh, let's just rank. We're not going to do, guys, here's the deal. We're not
Okay,
doing the
Biden.
traditional Finn score anymore, because I think we were kind of going back and forth on it already. Joel hates it. Since he's a part of us, I guess we can
Joel's a fucking diva, and we gotta bend to his will.
But what we can do, but what we're all gonna do is we're still gonna rank it. Joel can he can
Damn,
take
that
the
got
fin
him
score
good.
away from us, but he can't take the ranking. We will rank this.
Bend to his will. Are you a super villain?
Yeah, dude, you didn't know.
Joel the fucking diva, we gotta bend to his will.
But what was I saying in the group chat? A way we can do it.
I don't know, Yoda.
Like if we just if we just each gave each movie like a score out of 100, and then okay,
Math.
we'll average. So like if I take Top Gun, I'll give it a score, and then I'll take Maverick, give it a score. I'll give you just the average, and then you give me just the average of the two, and that'll be the final. Can you do that for us, Joel?
I'm
Can
giving
you
you
do
the
this?
average of the
I'm
two
nodding,
my two
and I didn't
numbers.
hear a word you just said.
Yes. Like tell us your individual ones, and then with an average of, and then we'll take each average divided by 3. We'll keep the math in there. I'll be honest though, if we were doing
What?
if we were doing
divide
it
by 3.
because there's 3 of us.
What? No. Just go.
So we add all of anyway. I'll just say if we were doing a fin score, the emotional impact on this movie, it would be 100. It would be the first 100. It would be a 100 for me. Anyway, so I'm gonna give Top Gun.
And Christian's John Williams. It's not John Williams, so it's a 99.
That's not John Williams. It reminds me of James Horner.
Who is the composer? By the way,
God.
I forgot his name in the last episode.
Randy Newman, actually. No.
You gotta go
Danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Take my breath away. Take my breath away.
It's more like this. Airships flying through the air.
Talk to me, goose. No more.